right, let's try this. Let's go.
Tell him to just keep a steady wide shot.
All right, testing, 1, 2. We should be fairly good on audio. Testing. Everyone fade. Good morning, basketball fans, and welcome to our coverage of the 2023 Mid-Michigan Saints League Girls Basketball Tournament, live on the RPSA Sports Network, presented in partnership with the GI-TEC School Broadcasting Program at Mount Pleasant High School. March Madness is in the air, and today the culmination of the season will happen in the Mid-Michigan Saints League. The 7-0 Renaissance Rams are looking for win number 8 on the year and a chance to hoist the trophy. As for their foes, the St. Mary's Colts, they got it done in the semifinals against the Trinity Panthers, and now will look to get revenge for their 2 previous losses to the Rams in today's championship. And we all know that anything can happen in March, so that adds another interesting component to today's game. And with that, we say welcome to Big Rapids High School for today's game. I'm Brenton Scobie, flying solo here courtside at Big Rapids High School. And today's going to be a great game. I had a chance to talk to the coach of the St. Mary's Colts beforehand. And now the team's coming out for the tip. It's going to be Jalen Schuberg and Emma Brown to go up for the tip for their respective squads. Officials getting ready to go, talking to some players, and it looks like we're ready to go. And we're underway, and the tip is won by the Colts. And here comes Maya Chapit up ahead, and her first layup of the day is no good. And the putback attempt, no good there for Brooke Tulaski, and it's no good. So here come the Rams. Molyneux with a wide open drive to the rim, and she lays it up and in. And the Rams have the first 2 points of the game. Just as they did at home, they secure the first 2 points of the night. And now here come the Colts for their second offensive possession. Waltz picked up her dribble, and now she'll put it back down. And that was tapped out of bounds, and they're going to say it was last touched by Teresa Busili. And it'll be Colts basketball here on the far sideline. We Waltz to inbound. Gets into Schuberg. Schuberg uses the screen. Schuberg gets it back to Waltz. Waltz into the lane. Finds Rule, who puts up the jumper, and that one goes down, and the Colts have tied it up. So now here comes Sophia Prain for the Rams. Prain finds Busili. Busili into the lane. Finds Emma Brown, and that pass was tipped, and it comes down to Maya Chapit, and now she'll bring it up for the Colts. Schuberg. Picked up by Prain, now she'll swing it to Waltz. Waltz. Tried to get to Maya Chapit. It went through her hands, but she corrals it. Now it's Waltz out top. Driving with that right hand. Trying to get to the rim. Goes underneath the arm of Lucy Molyneux, and she gives the Colts the lead. Here comes Prain for the Rams. Prain. Pull-up jumper in the lane. Off the backboard, and it rattles down. She got the home bounce. And we're all knotted up at 4. Schuberg gets it to Chapit. Chapit, skip pass to Waltz. Waltz into the lane. Spinning, had it taken away, and there's a fight for it out by half court. And now it's going to be over and back. Call against the Colts, and it'll be Renaissance basketball. Into the game now for the Rams, it's Gwen Molyneux. She replaces Emma Brown. Here's Prain. Gets into the middle to her sister Grayson. Grayson Prain gives it to Molyneux. Baseline jumper bounces through. Rams have gotten a couple nice early bounces, and after the Colts took the lead 4-2, the Rams have put up a quick 4 to take that lead right back. Schuberg had tapped away, but Waltz is able to pick it up and maintain possession. Waltz. Guarded heavily by Sophia Prain. Looking for it in the middle to Schuberg, And then the rebound will come down to Teresa Busili as Jalen Schuberg's shot is no good. The Rams have numbers. Teresa Busili driving to the rim and is fouled, and she'll go to the line for a pair of free throws. First shot from Busili, up and no good. She's got one more. Second one, up and good. She banked it in. And so the Rams lead is now up to 3. Now Schuberg will bring it up for the Colts. Schuberg gets out top to Allison Cole. Cole gives it back to Schuberg. Schuberg had it tapped away by Prane, and they're going to say it was last touch by Sophia Prane, and it'll be St. Mary's basketball. It'll be Waltz to inbound here for the Colts. Waltz tried to get into Schuberg there on the block, couldn't get in. And now that pass is into the backcourt. There's a fight for it. It's on the ground. It's picked up by Allison Cole. Cole had it taken away by Grayson Prane, but before the steal occurred, it'll be a timeout called by the Colts. We're going to take that timeout break with them. We'll be back on the other side of this short break. Welcome back to Big Rapids High School. The Rams have an early 7-4 lead over the St. Mary's Colts. And before the game, I had a chance to talk with Coach Schuberg of St. Mary, and he just said they need to apply full effort on both sides of the ball, get back on defense in transition, and then apply pressure down low. He said the Rams are 10 deep, and we would need to apply a ton of pressure in the lane to force some turnovers if they want a chance in today's game. So here come the Colts. It's Schuberg out top. Schuberg driving with that right hand. Gets out top to Chapit. Maya Chapit working against Gwen Molyneux. Pull-up jumper from Chapit. Looked like it might have been blocked. And Molyneux comes down with the rebound. And now here come the Rams. That pass was tipped. It's up in the air, and it comes down to Schuberg here for the Colts. Schuberg driving hard to the rim, stumbles, and we're going to get a foul here on the Rams. And Jalen Schuberg will go to the line for 2 shots. First shot from Schuberg, up and no good off back iron, and she's got one more coming. Second free throw, up and no good as well, and the rebound comes down to the Rams. Molyneux bringing up the floor now. Over to Anna Scobie on the wing. Rams will run the dribble weave. Molyneux for 3. Off. And the rebound comes down to Sophia Prane, and she flips it up and in. Nice job there from Sophia Prane to clean up the loose change. And they put the lead back up to 5. Here comes Schuberg for St. Mary's. Jumper. Might have been partially blocked. It hit the rim. And it comes back down to Schuberg. Schuberg fighting, and we're going to have a foul now on the Rams. Foul's going to go against Lucy Molyneux. And now 3 subs coming to the scores table here for the Rams. Emma Brown, Abby Wilson, and Rosemary Wright. Schuberg going to come off now for the Colts as well. So it's going to be Waltz to trigger the inbound here for St. Mary underneath. Waltz gets into Chapin. Chapin goes up over top of Emma Brown, can't finish, and the rebound comes down to, it was tapped around again, and then it came down to Molyneux, and she took a lick from Maya Chapin, and the foul's going to go on Chapin, it looks like. And now it'll be Renaissance basketball right in front of the Rams bench. Almost looked like a hockey sort of play there as Molyneux took a hit along the boards, and now Scobie will bring it up for the Rams. Scobie gets into Abby Wilson in the middle. Her jumper's too strong, and the rebound pinballs around to Molyneux, who knocks it down. .118 to go here in the first quarter. The Rams lead by 7. Waltz hands it off to Chapin. Chapin, running jumper, doesn't go down, and Abby Wilson corrals the rebound. Now she'll slow it down and give it to Scobie with 1 minute to play in the quarter. Up ahead to Molyneux. Molyneux out top to Scobie. Scobie bounces it to Emma Brown. Brown, the baseline jumper won't go, and Tulaski corrals the rebound for the Colts. 45 seconds to go in the first. Waltz driving with that right hand, trying to get to the rim again. She gets by Scobie, and they're going to say she was fouled on her way to the rim. And it's going to be on Scobie. And it'll be Waltz at the line now for 2 shots for the Colts. First shot from Emily Waltz up and no good as Noriana Hansen is checked into the game for the Colts. Second free throw from Waltz. That one's up and no good, and Molyneux did a nice job boxing out there and got the rebound for the Rams. Rams push in transition. Abby Wilson had her shot blocked down low by Noriana Hansen, and she traveled. And with 32 seconds to go in the first, it'll be St. Mary's basketball. As now Jalen Schuberg will check back in for Noriana Hansen. And Sophia Rule back in for Hadley Goot. Schuberg. 25 seconds to go in the court. Gets it out to Waltz. Waltz gets it out top to Chapin. Chapin spins and now gives it back to Waltz. Waltz into the lane. Nice take. Can't get the lay-in to go, and the rebound brought down by Emma Brown. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Up ahead to Wilson. Abby Wilson couldn't quite corral the bounce, and now there's a fight for it. Maya Chapin comes up with it. Schuberg at the buzzer puts it up from the logo, and it grazes the bottom of the net, and that's how the first quarter will end. An exciting first quarter to start, and we'll be back on the other side of this short break for the second quarter. Welcome back to Big Rapids High School. End of the first quarter. The Rams with an 11-4 lead over the Colts, and they've got it done by getting some good shots running through the offense and forcing turnovers on the defensive end. And 6 minutes in, they have a 7-point lead. Team still hanging out in the huddle. We'd like to remind you that today's game is being brought to you by the GI-TEC School Broadcasting Program at Mount Pleasant High School, or at least a small crew of it. You're hearing me, Brenton Scobie, doing the play-by-play for today's game and also running everything down at the desk. And then Alex Whitman running our baseline hero camera, and then his dad, Mr. Whitman, running our action camera up top, putting on a great championship game for you here today in Big Rapids. So the inbound pass from Grayson Prain goes into her sister, and here come the Rams on offense. Over to Emma Brown on the wing. She tried to get it down low to Teresa Busili, and it's out of bounds. And it'll go back down to the other end with St. Mary's. So it'll be Schuberg to bring it up for the Colts. Schuberg hands it off to Waltz. Waltz inside to Schuberg. Schuberg over top of Sophia Prain for 2, and they cut the lead back down to 5. Prain up ahead to Busili. Busili took a step before she put the ball down on the dribble, and it'll be a turnover, and it'll be St. Mary basketball. Schuberg hands it off to Waltz. Waltz down low to Schuberg again, who can't finish that time. And now we're going to have a foul called on Grayson Prain as Maya Chapit falls to the floor. That's going to be the 4th foul of the half on the Rams. Waltz gets into Rule, and she had taken away by Sophia Prain. Prain up ahead for the Rams. And she had tapped away from behind by Schuberg there, and it'll be Renaissance basketball on the baseline. Prain gets into her, she tried to get into Teresa Busili there, and Busili couldn't corral it before she stepped out of bounds. And it's going to be St. Mary basketball once again, a minute gone here in the second quarter. Schuberg gets in the middle to Tulaski. Schuberg throws up a runner, and the rebound comes down to Grayson Prain. Prain pushing it with pace, up ahead to Busili. Busili uses a nice move to get to the rim. She can't finish, and now the rebound comes down to the Colts. Schuberg into the middle to Tulaski again. Schuberg gets it back, and she had tapped away, but they're going to call a foul on the Rams. It's going to be the 5th of the half on Renaissance. Molino comes back in for Grayson Prain, as does her sister Gwen, and she replaces Venice Wagar. There's a fight for the ball on the ground now right in front of our table. And now we're going to have a timeout called by St. Mary's. We're going to take this short break with them. We'll be back with more on the RPSA Sports Network right after this. Welcome back to Big Rapids High School. It'll be Colts ball here on the near sideline. Waltz tried to get into the middle of Schuberg. She does, and now Maya Chapin has it out top. She lost her dribble, and now give it to Schuberg. Schuberg inside to Waltz. Waltz spins, and she took an extra step, and that's a travel, and it'll go back down to the other end with the Rams. So here comes Prane for the Rams. Prane finds Gwen Molyneux. Molyneux took that extra step as well, and the teams trade turnovers, and he'll go back down to the other end once again with the Colts. 11-6 still our score. Schuberg picked up and double teamed. She gets into the corner, Sophia Rule. Excuse me, that's Isabel Rule. And it'll be St. Mary's basketball here on the near sideline. Prane. Excuse me, it was Waltz. And Emma Brown stood up trying to get the pass away to Sophia Prane. And it'll be another turnover, and the Colts will get it right back. Waltz looking for somewhere to go, gets in to Chapin. Chapin tied up with Lucy Molyneux there along the baseline, and the possession arrow favors the Colts. And it'll stay on this end. Into Schuberg. Couldn't get the layup to go, put it up a little bit too strong, and now here comes Busili for the Rams. Busili gives it to Gwen Molyneux. Molyneux into the middle of Emma Brown. The pass was too high, and it comes down to Brooke Tulaski. Schuberg with a full head of steam, dishes to Waltz. Waltz gets it out top to Chapin. Chapin almost tied up with Gwen Molyneux. Schuberg kicks it back out to Waltz. Colts just passing it around right now. Waltz had tapped away from her by Busili, and now she'll kick it back out to Maya Chapin. Chapin uses the screen from Waltz. Jump shot goes over the backboard and out of bounds. It'll be Renaissance basketball as Anna Scobie checks back in for Emma Brown. So we get Lucy Molyneux to inbound it to Sophia Prane underneath. And Prane will set up the offense now for the Rams. Prane into the lane. Tried to finish through contact. The rebound comes down to Emily Waltz with 2:59 to go here in the first. Waltz hands it off to Schuberg. Schuberg swings it to Allison Cole. Cole gets it back to Schuberg. Schuberg spinning in the lane, and we're going to have a tie-up down low. This time the possession arrow favors the Rams. There's a conversation going on between the officials here as Coach Schuberg for the Rams is saying that Lucy Molyneux stepped across the line on the inbound pass. Now there's an argument going on between the two head coaches, and the officials are going to call them back together for a peaceful resolvement of this. Still a conversation going on between the coaches and the officials. And now that it's been resolved, and now the Rams are going to get it, as now the Renaissance fans starting to make some noise for their players. Praying gets in the middle to Busili. Busili puts it up through contact, can't get the lay-in to go, and her follow goes down, and the Rams lead back up to 7. First points of the quarter now for the Rams, and now with 2:20 to go, here comes Schuberg for the Colts. Schuberg gives it to Waltz. Waltz gets in the middle to Tulaski. That pass was tipped, and it'll come out to Schuberg. Schuberg traveled, trying to stay away from the tie-up of Lucy Molyneux, and the possession arrow. Looks like, oh, excuse me, they called it a travel. Here comes Praying for the Rams. Praying gets it to Busili out top. Busili kicks it back out to Scobie. It was a dangerous pass, but Scobie corrals it. Busili looking for somewhere to go, spinning in the lane. Gives it to Gwen Molyneux in the middle. Molyneux trying to finish through contact, and the rebound comes down to the Colts, and here comes Schuberg. Schuberg hits a cutting Waltz. Waltz flips it up, it's no good, and the rebound comes down to Jalen Schuberg. Schuberg to Tulaski for the jumper, and it's no good, and the rebound comes down to Busili. Here come the Rams. Praying into the middle to Gwen Molyneux, and the pass was too far out in front of Molyneux, and with 1:13 to go in the half, it'll be Colts basketball. Noriana Hansen back in, as is Maya Chapit. So Waltz will bring it up for St. Mary. Waltz. Waltz gets into the middle for Schuberg, who can't finish. And now that ball was tapped away from Noriana Hansen. And now here comes Praying with a full head of steam. Praying into the middle for Busili, who lays it up and in. And the Rams lead back up to 9. And now here comes Waltz for the Colts. Waltz into the lane, had it tapped away by Scobie. There's a tie-up, and the possession arrow favors the Colts. So he'll stay on this end with 30 seconds to go in the half. Waltz looking for somewhere to go. Lofts it into Chapit. Chapit dribbled it off her foot, and now kicks it out top to Schuberg. 20 seconds to go in the half. Waltz had her shot blocked, and she came down with it, and that's a travel. And with 18 seconds to go in the half, it'll be Renaissance basketball. As now Noriana Hansen will be up to apply pressure on the Rams. Hansen, Molyneux gets it to Scobie. Scobie driving. Gets it to Busili. Busili goes up against Waltz, can't finish, and now they're going to say it's off of the Colts under the basket and set with 7.6 left. It'll be Molyneux to trigger the inbound here for the Rams. Molyneux gets into Sophia Praying. Her shot up and short, and the rebound comes down to Chapit. Chapit lost it. Busili gives it to Molyneux. 1 second left, throws it up at half court, and she missed it short, and that's how the first half will end. We've had a pretty good wire-to-wire half, and the Rams lead it 15-6. We'll see you on the other side of halftime right here on the RPSA Sports Network. Welcome back to Big Rapids High School here for the second half of today's Mid-Michigan Saints League Girls Basketball Championship game for the 7th and 8th grade division. Teams getting ready to come out of the huddle, and we're getting ready for a great second half of basketball. The Rams did a nice job in the first half, but only put up 4 points in the second quarter after putting up 11 in the first. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out doing to start the third quarter. Final things being said to the players in the huddles before they go at it. And we all know anything can happen in March, so the Colts are not out of it yet. And now here the Rams come out onto the floor. It's Busili, the Prain sisters, Rosemary Wright, and Lucy Molyneux to start, and it's going to be Renaissance basketball. For the Colts, Brooke Tulaski, Maya Chapit, Jalen Schuberg, Isabel Rule, and Emily Waltz. So it's going to be Prain to start things off here for the Rams. Skip pass to Busili, goes through her hands, and that's an early turnover 6 seconds into the third, and it'll go back down to the other end with St. Mary. So it'll be Schuberg to bring it up now for the Colts. Schuberg swings it to Waltz. Waltz out top to Chapit. Guarded heavily by Sophia Prain. Into the middle to Schuberg now. Uses the pump fake and then takes a dribble, and her jump shot comes off well short. And the rebound comes down to Busili, and now Sophia Prain will set things up for the Rams. Over the wing for Molyneux. Now it's Busili along the baseline. Busili driving to the rim, lays it up off the backboard. It was blocked, and she was fouled on her second time up. And she'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Here's the first free throw from Busili. It's up and no good. But she's got one more coming. Second free throw, up and good, and the Rams lead is up to 10. And now here come the Colts now, trailing by 10. Schuberg swings it to Chapit. Chapit tried to hit a cutting Waltz, but it comes away to Schuberg. Waltz gets it back to Chapit. Waltz was bumped by Busili, and now she'll give it back to Schuberg, and now they'll work it around. And now we're going to have a foul on Teresa Busili. She collided with Emily Waltz going for that pass. That'll be the first foul of the half on either team. Waltz in the corner. Kicks it out top to Schuberg. Schuberg bounce pass to Waltz. Waltz fighting her way to the rim, shoots it off the bottom of the backboard, and now we'll have a tie-up. And this time the possession arrow favors the Colts, and it'll be St. Mary basketball underneath the far basket. Into Schuberg. Schuberg guarded by Molyneux. Schuberg throws up a runner. It bounces off the rim, and the rebound comes down to Lucy Molyneux, and now she'll push it ahead on the break. She'll give it back to Prain. Prain kicks it out to Molyneux. Molyneux, long jumper from outside, rims off, but the rebound comes down to Busili, and now the Rams will set it back up. Skip pass to Prain. Prain puts up the corner three. It went off the backboard, doesn't drop through, but Busili corrals another rebound. Prain gives it to Sophia Prain. Baseline jumper rattles out, and the rebound tied up down low, and the possession arrow will give it back to the Rams. Now Emma Brown and Venice Way are going to check in for the Rams. And in for the Colts, Candy Dubowski and Bella Ponce. Going to the bench for the Rams, Rosemary Wright and Grayson Prain. To the bench for the Colts, Isabel Rule and Maya Chapit. Molyneux hits a cutting Prain. Prain the jumper. Good. Oh, excuse me, it went off the back of the rim. Thought it was going to drop. And now Prain hustles back and disrupts the layup of Waltz. A nice hustle play there from Sophia Prain after she missed the jumper. And they're going to say the Rams have possession and the Colts are going to have to get back on defense. Really nice hustle play there from Sophia Prain to get back on D. And now she'll bring it up for the Rams. Colts have switched into a zone. Busili driving to the rim. Can't hit the lay-in. And the rebound came down to Prain, but she couldn't finish either. And now here comes Schuberg. Up ahead to Waltz. Waltz tried to go through Sophia Prain, and they're going to catch Sophia Prain with a foul. And with 3:22 to go here in the third quarter, is Emily Waltz will go to the line for the Colts. First free throw. Up and no good, off back of the rim and the backboard. But she's got one more. Trying to cut into a 10-point deficit. Here's the second shot from Waltz. It's up, and it's no good as well, and the rebound comes down to Lucy Molyneux. Molyneux lofts it down to Venice Wagar, who couldn't corral it, and it'll go back down to the other end with the Colts. Halfway through the third, Schuberg trying to get her team back into it. Schuberg tried to use the screen from Waltz. There was nowhere to go. And she lost the ball trying to go around her defender, and it's out of bounds. And they're going to say it's Renaissance basketball. Prain gets it to Busili. Busili tried to get it away to Venice Wagar. She almost traveled, but then she got away to Lucy Molyneux. Prain on the wing, kicks it to Busili in the corner, and her jumper's no good, but the rebound comes down to Emma Brown. And Schuberg rips it away. Nice play there from Jalen Schuberg. Schuberg up ahead, looking for somewhere to go, spinning, throws up the jumper. It's well short and out of bounds, but they're going to say it was tipped. And it'll be St. Mary basketball. Fairly low scoring affair here. As now Maya Chapin will check back in for Jalen Schuberg. Waltz, nowhere to go with it, gets into Chapin. Chapin spinning, puts it up over top of Lucy Molyneux, can't get it to drop. And now Molyneux will flip it up ahead to Emma Brown. Brown lost her glasses. Up ahead to Wagar, who can't hit the jumper. And Molyneux skies in for the board. And now Sophia Prain will set it back up. Prain kicks it to the corner. Busili looking for somewhere to go. Rips baseline. Puts up the floater head, knocked away by Tulaski. And they're going to say it was last touched by the Rams. And it'll go back down to the other end. And now a couple of subs coming in. Vance Wagar replaced by Anna Scobie. Gwen Molyneux coming back in for the Rams, going to replace Teresa Busili. Hadley Goot and Allison Cole back in for the Colts, replacing Dubowski and Bella Ponce. Waltz driving into the lane, tied up. Now gets it away to Chapin. Chapin puts up the free throw line jumper, and it's short, and it's out of bounds. And it's going to be Renaissance basketball. If things stay on the pace that they're sitting at currently, this is going to be the lowest scoring game between these two schools of the season. Molyneux in the corner steps into a long jumper, and it won't go, but Anna Scobie corrals the rebound. Scobie throws it off the backboard, and it'll come away to Maya Chapin. Waltz looking for somewhere to go on the wing. Gets it down low to Tulaski. Blocked by Brown. Sophia Prain taps it to Molyneux. Molyneux now kicks it back out to Prain. Prain's jumper, no good. It's just short, and the rebound will go out of bounds, and it'll be Colts ball. And Abby Wilson will come back in to replace Sophia Prain, and now Schuberg back in for Emily Waltz. Noriana Hansen will also check back into the game. She replaces Allison Cole. Chapin looking for somewhere to go. Gets it back out top to Schuberg. Schuberg gives it back to Chapin. Playing a little bit of just pass it around right now. Back out top. Schuberg thought about the three, and they're going to get her with a travel. It'll be Renaissance basketball out by half court. Allison Cole now going to check back in for Noriana Hansen. Scobie gets it to Gwen Molyneux. Molyneux. And that pass was errant. It'll go out of bounds right by our desk. And it'll be Colts ball. Hansen gives it into Schuberg. And now she'll set things up with 20 seconds to go here in the third. Schuberg kicks it out. Hansen gets into the middle of Schuberg. Schuberg can't get her lay-in to go, and the rebound comes down to Molyneux. And now here comes Scobie with 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Scobie slows it up, gives it out to Molyneux. Molyneux steps into the jumper. And she can't get the bounce, and now here comes Schuberg. And we're going to have a timeout taken by the Colts with half a second on the clock. And now the teams will head to their respective huddles. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side of it for the final half second of the third right after this. Welcome back to Big Rapids High School. Teams still in their huddles talking over what they want to do for the final half second of the third. Colts will have to go the length of the court in that amount of time. If I had to guess, they'll probably roll it in and throw up a half-court prayer. Hansen gets into the Waltz, and that's how the third quarter will end. They won't put up a shot. And that is how things will end here in the third. We're going to send it back to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back on the other side of it for the fourth quarter. Welcome back to Big Rapids High School. Teams coming out of the huddles for the final 6 minutes of their respective seasons, unless, of course, we have overtime. Coming out for the Colts, it's going to be Tulaski, Schuberg, Chapit, Waltz, and Noriana Hansen. For the Rams, it's Lucy and Glenn Molyneux, Sophia Prain, Teresa Busili, and Anna Scobie. And it'll be Colts ball to start the fourth. Here comes Emily Waltz for the Colts. Uses the screen from Chapit. And she lost it to Sophia Prain. Here comes Prain up ahead. And she can't finish the transition lay-in, but the rebound comes down to Gwen Molyneux, and now she'll get it back out. Now the Rams are going to pass it around a little bit. Prain driving baseline, now kicks it out to Gwen Molyneux. Molyneux's jumper, good! And now here comes Waltz for the Colts. Rams lead back up to 12. Five minutes to go. Waltz lofts it inside to Schuberg, who can't lay it in. And now the rebound, there's a fight for it, and they're going to say it was last touched by Brooke Tulaski, and it's going to be Renaissance basketball. Here come the Rams. Prain swings it to Molyneux. Now into the corner for Busili. Rams content to pass and take time off the clock. And then Schuberg took it away from Scobie. Schuberg crisscrossing into the lane, lost the ball. Who's it off of? Looks like it never went out of bounds as Schuberg fell to the floor really hard. And now the Rams will set it up. Scobie, high arcing jumper from the corner, well long. And now here comes Schuberg once again for the Colts. Waltz trying to get inside to Schuberg again. They do. Schuberg kicks it out to Waltz for three. No good. And the rebound goes off the face of Noriana Hansen and comes down to Anna Scobie. And the Rams will slow things down once again. 2 minutes gone here in the fourth. Molyneux steps into a long two, and it goes off the back of the rim, and the rebound comes down to Teresa Busili. Prain steps into a jumper and knocks it down. The Rams are finally getting some jump shots to go, and the lead is up to 14. And now here comes Waltz for the Colts. Chapit throws up the jumper, and it's no good, and now here comes Molyneux, and she'll slow it down. Over to Prain on the wing. Prain steps into another jumper. This one's too strong, and the rebound comes down to Noriana Hansen. And timeout, Coach Schuberg and St. Mary's with 3:16 to go. And we're going to head to a quick commercial break, our final one of the day. We'll be back on the other side of it right after this. Welcome back to Big Rapids High School. Final 3:16 to go here in these two squad seasons. And the Rams with a 14-point lead, feeling pretty good about themselves. The Colts trying to find a way to get themselves back into it to maybe try and make a really big comeback and win this game. Colts ball underneath the basket. So we Hansen to inbound it to Emily Waltz. So here comes Emily Waltz for the Colts. Waltz swings it to Chapit. Chapit pull-up jumper. Rims off the backboard, and then Schuberg can't finish on the follow, and Molyneux takes away the rebound with 3 minutes to go. Rams are slowing things down tremendously. Molyneux had it ripped away from her by Waltz, and looks like they're going to get Emily Waltz with a foul. That's going to be the second and a half on the Colts. Very low scoring, very low fouls here in today's game. Molyneux gets it into Prane. Her jumper from the corner swirls down. And the Rams lead now up to 16. And here comes Waltz for the Colts. Waltz into the middle for Chapin. Schuberg's long jumper. That won't drop. And Molyneux has the rebound with 2:14 to go. In case some of you don't know the league rules, there's no full court pressing until 2 minutes to go, which we're just now hitting. Vance Wagar's jumper rims off the back of the rim. And now here come the Colts. 1:50 to go. Here's Waltz. Schuberg, pull-up jumper, no good. And Lucy Molyneux skies in for the board. And now we're going to have a timeout taken by the Rams with 1:44 to go. And now the Renaissance fans behind me starting to feel it. And the Rams in their huddle, you can start to see the excitement on their faces as well. Teams getting ready to come out of the huddles. Rams looking to finish off an undefeated season with a trophy, first in school history. On the court now for the Rams, Anna Scobie, Abby Wilson, Vance Wagar, Grayson Prane, and Rosemary Wright. The Colts, it's Chapin, Talaski, Schuberg, Waltz, and Noriana Hansen. And it's Renaissance basketball down at the far end. And that was out of bounds off the leg of Anna Scobie. And it'll be St. Mary basketball. They did a nice job forcing the turnover there with the full court pressure. Waltz lofts it in. Schuberg had her shot partially blocked, and now we're going to have a foul called on the Rams. So Schuberg going to go to the free throw line for two shots, excuse me. First free throw, up and good off the backboard. First points of the second half for the Colts. She's got one more, as now Sophia Prane will check back in for Abby Wilson. And it looks like we're going to have a lane violation here on the Colts. And it'll be Renaissance basketball with 1:40 to go. Schuberg, excuse me, it's Grayson Prane underneath. It's too early, and I haven't had my coffee yet. As now that ball along the sideline was tapped back to Schuberg, who lost it and is now blocked by Grayson Prane, and they're going to get her with a foul. Nice hustle play there in transition from Prane, but it'll send Schuberg back to the free throw line with 1:29 to go. First free throw up and no good, and she's got one more. Second one, up and good. She banked it in. The lead down to 14 now. As now here comes Praying for the Rams as she gets it across half court and then lost it. Here comes Waltz. Schuberg now driving to the rim, kicks it back to Waltz. Waltz puts it up. No good, and the rebound comes down to Scobie now with 1:13 to go. And now she'll slow it down. And now Coach Stroff will take a timeout wisely, trying to maintain possession here for the final minute. St. Mary's Colts B team getting ready for their championship game, which will come up right after this one. We won't be bringing you coverage of it, but it is going to happen on the same court as this one. Final 1:07 left. The Rams lead it by 14. Do the Colts have anything left in them to cut into this deficit? Coming out for the Colts, Schuberg, Chapit, Tulaski, Waltz, and Hansen. For the Rams, it's the Prain sisters, Anna Scobie, Vance Wagar, and Rosemary Wright. Grayson Prain looking for somewhere to go. Gets into Anna Scobie in the corner, and then she almost had it taken away by Waltz. But they're going to say Anna Scobie was out of bounds when she corralled it. And with 1:06 to go, it'll go back down to the other end with St. Mary. Colts will roll it in to conserve time. Waltz tried to get in the middle of Schuberg. It was tapped around and it comes out to Schuberg. Waltz for three. No good. It's just short. And then the rebound was last touched by Maya Chapit and the Colts. And it'll go back down the other end with 52 seconds to go. Prain gets into her sister Sophia. And now she's trying to break the press. And now across half court, she can take time off the clock, and now it'll be a foul on Jalen Schuberg here on the near sideline. It's the third of the half on the Colts. And it'll be Grayson Prain to inbound it right in front of our broadcast table. Grayson Prain tried to get into Anna Scobie. Bodies follow the floor. It's Scobie and Schuberg, and it'll be out of bounds. And it'll be... Actually, they're going to say it was never touched by a player, and so they'll inbound it from the exact same spot. Waltz into the corner, guarded heavily by Grayson Prain. Precious seconds ticking away, and now we're going to have a foul on the Rams. It's going to be the fifth of the half on Renaissance, with 33 seconds left. All smiles on the Rams bench, not quite the same on the other end of the floor, as the Rams are starting to feel this one in hand. Abby Wilson checks in for Grayson Prain. And now here comes Schuberg for the Colts. She pulls up for three. And she knocks it down off the window. And now the gap is down to 11. Here comes Sophia Prain, fouled by Schuberg right next to the bleachers. .22 seconds left. Colts are going to have to foul 3 more times in order for the Rams to start shooting free throws. And it's going to be Abby Wilson to inbound it for the Rams. Wilson gets into Prain, and now with 20 seconds left, Rosemary Wright is fouled going up for a lay-in, and now she'll go to the line for a pair of free throws. Here's the first free throw. It's up, and it's short, but she's got one more. And now the Colts will bring in Dubowski, Allison Cole, Isabel Rule, Hadley Goot. And the Colts will send the 5 that were on the floor to the bench. 5th Colts player now in is Bella Ponce. Second free throw. Up and no good off the backboard, and it'll be St. Mary's basketball with 18.3. The layup from Scobie won't count. And now it'll be Allison Cole to bring it up for the Colts with 15 seconds left. Cole tried to pass it to Dubowski. Now it's picked up by Prane. And Prane tried to lay it in, and now 3 seconds left, and the time is going to expire, and that's how it ends. The Renaissance Rams come away with a 22-11 victory, and now they'll celebrate before heading through to shake hands. Great season for the Rams. They end 8-0. Very low-scoring game on the whole today. And now the Rams are going to go celebrate. As now the Rams hoist the trophy. And that's how things will end for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in today's broadcast on the RPSA Sports Network. The Rams come away with a 22-11 win over the St. Mary's Colts in the league championship. They cap off an undefeated season. On behalf of our entire crew today, for Mr. and Alex Whitman, I'm Brenton Scobie saying so long and have a great rest of your Saturday. The Rams win it 22-11 over the St. Mary's Colts.